In this video, we're going to be covering 5 signs your ex isn't happy. But first, my name is Clay with modernlove.life, where we help you get the great loving relationship that you're looking for without having to play mind games, without having to play hard to get, and without having to pretend to be someone or something that you are not, because you of course deserve to be loved for the unique, amazing, and wonderful person that you are. If you agree with me and if you want to help a guy out with his YouTube channel, please hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel down below for the YouTube algorithm. It does help give our videos a little bit of a lift. At least that's my understanding. So, hit those buttons and help a guy out. So 5 signs your ex isn't happy after the breakup and all that stuff. So the first thing that happened is if they're trying to, force happiness. Are they trying to force happiness when it comes to their other interactions in life? Now, obviously if the two of you are broken up, you may only have like kind of a limited view into their life. Maybe you can only see into their life through social media. Or maybe you do have mutual friends or other things like that. But if it seems like they're trying to force happiness after a breakup, then, and we'll get into this a little bit more throughout this video in terms of how you can tell if it's real, genuine happiness or if it's forced happiness. But if they're trying to force happiness, then it really shows that, they obviously aren't happy. We do live in a time when people, try to project, especially on social media, project that they have it all together, project that, they have this great, wonderful life and everything like that, even though it may not always be that way. And so it is very common for people to project a lot and posture a lot. And, this is also especially true in the world of breakups. Like, people play all these like crazy, weird games when it comes to breakups, Many of us have this belief that, in order to win the breakup, we have to make it seem like we've moved on faster, our life is better than our ex's, our ex made a horrible, terrible mistake, and, they should have stayed with us or something like that. And so people try to force their life to look good or look like it's all perfect or look like things are a certain way, even though it may not necessarily be that way whatsoever. So just keep that in mind, that if they're trying to force happiness, or if it seems like they're trying to force happiness, it definitely is probably an indication there's something deeper going on beneath the surface, which is probably unhappiness, right? Like, if you were genuinely happy, why would you try to force happiness? So that brings us to the second thing that your ex might be doing if they aren't genuinely happy. And that's that, look back at your breakup and say, okay, did the breakup actually solve the real problems that your ex was having? So like, for example, I've observed this many times that if someone is dissatisfied with certain areas of their lives, they may try to do something to enact control in an area of their life that they feel like they do have control in. So for example, if someone's dissatisfied in their career, they don't feel like they have the power to affect their career or influence their career or something, or if their health is not in a great place and they don't feel like they have the power to gain control over their health or something like that. What they might do is they might turn to their relationship and say, okay, well, I do have control over this, so I'm going to break up with you, or something like that, just so they can feel like they have some sort of control, so they can feel like they're shaking things up, so they can feel like they're moving things in the right direction or whatever. And so if you look back at your ex's life and you're like, okay, well, I think that they were definitely, really dissatisfied with their career, or maybe some sort of creative project. I don't know, maybe they're a musician or an artist or something, and they were kind of stagnating for whatever reason. And they just, took it out on our relationship. Then it's like, okay, that, clearly that's not actually solving the underlying problem, which is that they're not feeling like they have the kind of impact that they want to have. And so that is definitely an indication that, like, okay, it didn't really solve what was actually contributing to their dissatisfaction with life, which is probably an indication that, like, okay, they're probably still unhappy. Even after you break up with someone, it's not like the gates of heaven open up to you and you're in some sort of wonderful utopian paradise or anything like that. You're still like the rest of us. You still have problems in life. You still got all these challenges that it doesn't all go away. Granted, not every relationship should work out in the end. Obviously, situations that involve like abuse and all sorts of other things where people are just like incompatible. There's, violence. There's, high levels of drama that aren't good for kids and stuff like that. I mean, like, obviously, those are relationships that I really can't recommend that you save. But if breaking up isn't solving the core issue at hand, then chances are your ex probably isn't happy. Okay. The third sign that your ex isn't happy is that they didn't really want to break up with you to begin with. You know, there's all kinds of reasons that your ex might break up with you when they didn't really want to. You know, maybe they tried to make things work initially. Maybe they really fought for the relationship. Maybe all sorts of other things. You know, we do have our whole video on reasons your ex didn't really want to break up with you to begin with. You can check it out right there. But if your ex didn't really want to break up with you to begin with, and they felt like they had to for some reason, then they're probably not happy, right? Again, they felt like they needed to, and it didn't really solve any underlying core issues that were going on in their life. But, you know, sure, maybe they really needed to break up with you, but they didn't want to. That's probably an indication that they aren't happy, okay? The fourth sign is that they're living a sort of shallow existence. Now, after a breakup, typically a lot of people will go into this sort of emotionally unavailable kind of way of being. And this emotionally unavailable way of being can cause people to, you know, not live into their full values. It can cause them to do like really shallow things, you know, like, you know, be in relationships with people that they don't have a lot of common with because the other person's hot or something like that. Or to do a lot of like really shallow things, you know, like go out there and drink and, you know, do drugs or other sorts of like things like that, that aren't really in alignment with who they are, that, you know, might be kind of like risky or dangerous or things like that, put their health at risk, depending on what the actual activity might be. But if they're kind of caught up in this whole kind of like shallow, surface level, you know, flash in the pan, cotton candy kind of excitement, then it does show that there's probably emotional stuff going on under the surface that are not being addressed. And they're probably not deeply happy underneath all of this. And they're probably just trying to numb themselves through these sorts of shallow, surface level distractions of some sort, okay? And then the fifth sign that your ex isn't happy is that they broke up with you. Very, very, very rarely will someone actually be like truly, amazingly satisfied and happy after breaking up with someone else. You know, even if a relationship isn't going great, you can look to your ex and, you know, even if you see them as like some sort of terrible villain or something like that, the cause of all of your pain, breaking up with them, it may be for the best and it may make a lot of sense. But once that happens, you still have your life that you have to look at. And you're not able to look at your ex any longer as this person that held you back, as this evildoer, as this arch villain of some sort that maybe you were resenting or feeling contempt for. You have to actually take responsibility for your life. And that can be a difficult thing for a lot of people, you know, coming out of this sort of thing where it's like, you know, man, I just got to break it with my ex. My ex is holding me back. My ex is, you know, we just fight all the time. I deserve better than this and all of that. And you know, maybe that's true. But even after you go through with it and you do it, it's like, okay, great, it's done. But what now? Now I actually have to take control for my life. Now I actually have to do the things that I always said I was going to do, but I always told myself and I was told everyone else that, you know, my ex was holding me back. It can be a difficult place to be at. You know, even things that you look forward to, even things that you want, like a holiday coming or a birthday or something like that. Once it's over, you can feel a sort of sense of sadness because that hope that you had that it would, you know, give you this great lasting high, it fades away. And you're brought back to normal everyday life. And you realize that like, okay, my life is still my life and I still have to take care of it and I still have to do the things that I want to do and I still have to put in the hard work to, you know, make the impact that I want in the world and all that stuff. And so it can very often cause your ex to have this sort of sobering reality where it's like, okay, the breakup wasn't going to solve all my problems. And that can definitely cause them to feel a little bit less than happy. And so these are some things that your ex might do or things that you might be on the lookout for if your ex isn't truly happy after the breakup. Now, you know, if you do want to save things between you and your ex and you do want to make the relationship between the two of you work and you do believe there is a real possibility for a great relationship between the two of you, you might be interested in our course called the Ex Solution Program. It does go through how to have a strong emotional connection with your ex that brings the two of you closer together and allows the two of you to actually have the possibility for a new, great, wonderful, amazing relationship based off of solid emotional connection, authenticity, vulnerability, trust, being present with one another, all of these good things. like no mind games and stuff like that, like maybe you've heard elsewhere. But this is what the foundation of a great relationship is based off of. And if you want to learn more about that, we do have our course. It's down in the description box below. Feel free to check it out. If it seems like a good fit, you're more than welcome to join us. If not, no worries. But I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, and you do like these videos, help a guy out, hit that thumbs up button, comment, all that stuff. It helps us with the algorithm. And if you want to learn more about what your ex is thinking, we do have this video series over here, or you might want to check out this video right over here. But once again, my name is Clay. Please take care, and I'll talk to you next time.